If you've noticed the turnaround time for your drug testing is a bit slower than usual, you're right, and you're not alone. This slowdown is a national problem. Between COVID, natural disasters, and some new government requirements, the labs processing employer drug tests have been hit with a perfect storm.
When COVID came to be, a lot of the labs rediverted a lot of their resources to their staffing working on COVID testing, which makes sense. And then as COVID went on, they started to maybe lose some staff here and there, but not a huge issue, either because of lack of revenue volume on the drug screening side or because people were sick and just weren't at the labs. Those items happened. And then as we moved forward through time, um, in this year, August, there was a mandate by the Department of Transportation that new chain of custody forms had to be provided for DOT drivers. And that's where it really started to become apparent that not only was there turnaround time issues, but there was kind of the supply issues and the distribution issues that we're kind of used to seeing in grocery stores now.
Then, on top of everything else, came Hurricane Ida. As it battered New Orleans, it took out an Abbott Laboratories facility.
So their laboratory was pretty much heavily damaged in the storm. And there were there were specimens sitting on tarmacs that couldn't be delivered to the lab. If they did get to the lab, there was no one to test. There was no power at the lab. So that kind of caused a whole quagmire because that wasn't really made apparent to the public for about a week.
There are four main labs that process the majority of employer drug tests: Abbott, LabCorp, Quest, and CRL. While the one closed lab might not seem like a big deal, it is. These companies have dozens of facilities across the country, but employer drug testing, especially urine testing, is only processed in a small handful of them. After the hurricane, the three other labs jumped right in to help, but doing so just caused their backlogs to grow. This perfect storm is causing turnaround time delays for employers all over the country. Now, it's not huge, maybe just a day longer than usual, but with companies needing to hire ASAP, any delay is frustrating. The labs have been, however, completely transparent about what they've been dealing with and how they're gearing up for the future.
Because they are all investing in new instrumentation to support the screening and processing, the throughput and the capacity. They're all hiring additional staff and they're all adding additional shifts to do what they can to get caught up and make sure they stay that way. But it really just was, again, the perfect storm, a quagmire of circumstances that I'm not really sure that anybody could account for.
But sometimes it takes a mess like this to make dramatic improvements. And Heather says she believes the results will be better for everyone. Coming up in part 2 of our interview, we'll tell you a way your company might be able to help alleviate some of the burden at the labs while making COVID testing easier for your team. That's coming up next time. See you then.